egbanzo. Ata Mills, John Mama, Kwesi Ahoy, Jenana, double, eyeza. John Mama, NDC, double. Ata Mills, NDC, double. Kwesi Ahoy, Kahu, NDC, double. Idrisu Aruda, NDC, double. Egbanzo. Ata Mills, NDC, John Mama, Jenana, Kwesi Ahoy, double, eyeza. Egbanzo. Ata Mills, NDC, John Mama, Kwesi Ahoy, double, eyeza. John Mama, NDC, double. Ata Mills, NDC, double. Aruna Idrisu Kahu, NDC, double. Manasseh Azure Kahu, NDC, double. Kwesi Pratt Kahu, NDC, double. Suleiman Brahma, NDC, double. Okay, let's play the song. Give me the song. Let it go.
Yezu, sana yekam. Yebeko, Yezu. Yo, Yeza. Atami to mama NDC double. Yezu, Yezu. What I say? Yebeko, Yezu. Atami to mama NDC double. Atami say NDC double. To mama NDC. Atami say NDC double. To mama NDC. Obi say Atami NDC double. To mama NDC. First lady Lord in NDC double. To mama NDC. Ayazu.
Wani behu Ghana konya na wotono esi subiem. Yanko na wotono na wotono esi subiem. Yomame na wotono esi subiem. Enyan confirm wani behu Ghana konya na wotono esi subiem. Amen. Wani behu Ghana konya na wotono esi subiem. Yanko na wotono na wotono esi subiem. Yomame na wotono esi subiem. Enyan confirm wani behu Ghana konya.
You're a regional chairman. Your Excellency, what do running mates in Yanano? The Ashanti region, the executives, the constituency executives, the chairman, and the MPs. I have said. The trust seminar kind of said. The also now in the show, the also so now then I say.
No, you ba, dear, you will move on and say, Ube so TV, and now be so what's up, Nuko, Ube take every day, not me, you. Don't Mahama, every day, Buanipa, now what Buanipa. Don't Mahama, I need us, I need every day, we need us. What is the TV? I just say, Buakuma, Titia Kuma, just a me, TV, BM, our Miria Siame buyer. No, himba, dear, you will mukwane say. Ube so TV, and now be so WhatsApp. No go. Ube te every na me yawu. Don't Mahama, every buanipa. Na what buanipa? Don't Mahama. I need us. I need everything. Nipa, I need us. What? Every
What is the TV that said?
Kwasia Sam, Kwasia Yum. I just a Buakuma, Titia Kuma. Just a me, TV, BM. Our Miria Siame buyer. I am missing the path from your bedroom, baby. I do. Missing ya and your full quirk. A year pass up broken heart in your some ketua. I am mamma boom, my power. Yes, but see what him by boom, my yes, you. If you are walk penal. No, I catch that with a bra, me crown we and Tina, but na and you will pent won't and bra, sister on Pemiana. So, my bro. And my papa
because of their broken heart.
Bigger margin that we did in 2016.
This year?
Yes.
Hey, miracles.
No,
yeah, record you.
Oh, Obi, me na me catch your trot to me say we are winning greater. Yeah, and this is one more year campaign on social media. I'm telling you, I grown up from Obi. Me ba Obi. One from a microphone. Oh, I don't TV for the mic call Makola. I want to the manica, you know. Saturday, I come to do one man who only greater gra. To do man and greater gra no more. And I went home. Me say, gentleman tweet here and I say, oh, who the microphone call a man who was Makola. I'm going to say, Dr. Mahmoud Bamia. Now, what I said, you talk about Twitter. Obi Twitter, nipa bako account bear 5. Or no call.
The only issue is the gap. How big a gap we are going to give our opponents. I want a big gap. I want a big gap.
Bigger margin that we did in 2016.
This year?
Yes.
Hey, miracles.
No,
yeah,
Obi.
record you.
Oh, Obi, me na me catch your trot to me say we are winning greater. Yeah, and this is for Makola. I'm going to say, Dr. Mahmoud Bamia. Now, what I said, you talk about Twitter. Obi Twitter, nipa bako account bear 5. Or no call.
The only issue is the gap. How big a gap we are going to give our opponents. I want a big gap. I want a big gap. I want all of you to come out. I want a big gap. We want to beat them well.
There is much to do to salvage our country and reset it. It would have to start with a reset of the relationship between citizens and elected officials. We must never forget that the people of Ghana have chosen us to represent their wishes and their best interest. It is the reason we would be initiating important governance reforms and sometimes initiate severe measures in the next 4 years to reset our nation and bring it back on track as the Black Star of Africa. The journey is not going to be easy, my brothers and sisters, because the outgoing government has plunged our dear nation into an abyss. However, we are determined to work together with you to build the Ghana we want. No matter what office you hold, no matter what your political affiliation is or has been in the past, the one thing we share in common is the nation Ghana. And it is that we want a much better Ghana. We want a Ghana that works for everybody and not just a few people. Let us be brief in our celebration, for the weight of office will be an onerous one. Expectations of Ghanaians are very high, and we cannot afford to fail them. Let us maintain and even magnify this joy and positivity that we feel.
I know a lot of people stayed up all night to be listening to the election results. And yes, I spoke about it, I prophesied about it. The same way God has been speaking to me over the years, He spoke to me. But the opposite occurred. The Bible says that let God be true and let all men be liars. I saw right, I heard right, but the opposite had occurred. And so there is nothing I can do, and I can say. It's very interesting that in our walk with God, there are times that you feel you know Him so much, you have come to a place, and He always starts and redefines Himself to you. And personally, I think that physically it is difficult to explain, because the same way I've been hearing God speak was the same way I heard Him speak. But for those of you who have followed me over the years, you know that most of the things that He uses me to say come to pass. And so I will not give the blame to God. God is true and every man is a liar. When it comes to God, I would prefer to be the liar for God to be the true one. But that doesn't end it all. Tell your neighbor, it doesn't end it. We mami mejain kom sheshe. We nebe mama koshem kompaye. And I think I've known God so much, and I'm not the first prophet who has encountered this. Isaiah encountered it, Jehoshaphat encountered it, and so in life, that is how it is. God at times will have to let everybody know that you are human and He's God. Regardless of how much God uses me, I am man and God is God. And so let us get it right. God never made a mistake. If there was any mistake, I was the one who made a mistake. And I'm human, and that's not the first time. But there is something so strong in my heart that says that He knows what He is doing. And
parliamentary elections. At this point, Mr. Speaker, it is finished. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the people of Ghana for electing His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as the next President of the Republic of Ghana. The people of Ghana have once again shown that they can rise to the occasion when it matters the most. May I, at this point, acknowledge the hard work of our present 137 NDC members of Parliament for their dedication to duty, which has resulted in the unprecedented number of MPs elect for the NDC party. Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to announce that we were able to snatch over 50 parliamentary seats from our colleagues at the divide. We took more than 50 parliamentary seats from the ruling NPP party. Mr. Speaker, we have clearly shown that it is possible to reduce the NPP majority to Nkokwan Katenkate. Indeed, Nkokwan Katenkate is possible. Right Honourable Speaker, the night Parliament will be unique and interesting. It would be a contest of ideas between the super NDC majority and the mini-micro NPP minority. Mr. Speaker, what happened on the 7th of December polls was a revolution, the people's revolution, what I call it. It was a revolt against a government that is obstinate, insensitive, high-handed, and dismissive of public opinion. It was a revolt against a government that called people with dissenting views names such as detractors, cynics, naysayers. Mr. Speaker, sometimes they call views of dissenting people as Sambalat and Tobias. Ghanaians have clearly shown that they cannot be takers of power. Impunity, disrespect, lawlessness, and persecution of political opponents. Mr. Speaker, the lesson is that what happened to the MPP and the outgoing government is that the political class cannot and should not take the people of Ghana for granted. This calls for introspection on the part of the political class. It is also a call for deep soul searching on the part of those in leadership who ought to have been heard when government engages in acts of impunity, lawlessness, and destruction. To my cherished NDC political party and the incoming government, may we never become like the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have to be different. We cannot be like the NPP government. We may be guided by the principles of integrity, probity, and accountability.
This must be attended to. Members have projects outstanding in their constituencies. We need to together work and ensure that statutory funds that are outstanding are released so that members can continue their projects, hand them over, especially those who are leaving us. Mr. Speaker, to colleagues who could not make it, there's a better day tomorrow. Do not give up. The Frenchman will say, c'est la vie, this is life. There are good days and bad days. If you lost, get back to the people, understand them, do some research, and I'm quite sure that upon that and reflection, you'll be better prepared for a better day tomorrow. There are some amongst us who lost elections and came back. Go to them, consult them, and engage them. And if you are desirous of remaining in public life, I'm sure you'll make it the next time around. For those of us who have won, let us be mindful of the needs of decisions that we will take.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career.
So muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi, inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country. If you reach a certain stage in life and there's nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And
government is broke, but people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where's that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type one, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type
conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. Our conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Yesterday in Parliament, majority minority tussled over $350 million US tax waivers. President-elect Mahama outlines top priorities. Ketasco concerned about Category B classification. Miriam Bona named 2024 Best Nurse Stroke Midwife. Ghanaian Times, we will not approve tax waivers and loans. It will be burden on public purse. Minority Leader. 2024 election triumph. It's a legacy term. I'll give off my best, JM assures. Investment opportunities in off-plan properties near Kotoka International Airport Enclave Seoul. Please grab alleged medro of Okada marketing strategies fueling domestic and diasporic travel. Stop the blame game. NPP admonishes Apia Kubi and Boachi Ntwi. Deliver your promises and spare subtle excuses, Dr. Mahama. NSA debunks ghost names and payroll fraud allegations. Archbishop Adonti Boateng calls for strategic leadership from President Mahama. The Insight. Economic recovery na big lie. Professor John Gachi warns Mahama of a government claim. E-Transact and Pontu Technologies launched Ghana's first AI and payments technology accelerator for Ghanaian startups. Archbishop Adonti Boateng calls for strategic leadership from President-elect John Mahama. Baumia and the curious case of the missing incompetent. Unlocking Ghana's economic potential, an examination of John Dramani Mahama's 24-hour economic hunger and poverty in Africa. Daily Post. The new Mahama government will inherit Dumso from the Akufo-Addo Baumia-led MPP government, says energy experts. Mahama raises alarm over ECG's 32% losses, calls for urgent reform. NDC files suit to block EC from recollating results in 5 constituencies. There are many foolish prophets in Ghana. They should have no place of honor. Prophet Kofi Odro. Economy Times. Fiscal consolidation in Ghana. Others to gain focus in 2025. Fitch Solutions. ADI proposes swift implementation of e-cash rewards. Resetting Ghana's economy. Severe measures expected amidst IMF program review concerns. And that's about it for the front pages. We're back shortly.
Solutions and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability, the only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
Fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN. Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Ama, nansi mi cheno wo bin enko ye kwa o. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomre akija.
Nansi me hu se mi nyo basi makura. Ama me kunu ni me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo ko. Give us JC mixture and any capsules. Ah ye num boom. En ho asem na mo kana. E boa emma ene meme nyina. Ne ma ba ye obesima. Na bema so ye bemasima. Ya, we be bua wuku. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne butu. Na wanyinya n'anim te sese ne oyi chokwa. Givers GC mixture, MN capsule, Ashesa.
A painful about one more menu for one and Quada will feed you.
How far with your intention?
To be honest, I'm so nervous about starting this new role on Monday.
Oh, please. I know you'll be great at it. You should be worried about what benefits they have. Example, do they have health insurance?
I doubt they will have that for internet. But no shaking. I have NHIS already.
Actually, I'm on a line.
Ina, look at you. What are you going to do in the office when you can just download the app to register for an NHIS membership?
Yes, my people. You heard right. You can now download and register your membership on my NHIS app. No long queues or tedious paperwork. All you need is your Ghana card to register for yourself and for others. Once you register, you get a new digital NHIS card on your phone. My NHIS app gives you access to credentialed health facilities and services across the country. NHIS covers over 95% of disease conditions in Ghana. Access to healthcare just got easier.
Now let me sign up quickly. Please, Seth, I'm starting work next month.
Who are you? Who are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bread called mattress anymore? Don some slippers, then follow me. You just buy the mattress with the front there. Yeah? That'll be the mattress where the bed for. Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all. Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like Ash Foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ash Foam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
A home is never complete without the warmth of family, the assurance of security, and the joy of shared moments. Whether you are returning home from abroad or seeking a new beginning, Rehoboth Havens Ayimensa is where your journey truly begins. Discover the perfect balance of modern living and natural beauty with flexible installment plans available to make your dream home a reality. Our 2 and 3 bedroom houses offer spacious interiors, elegant designs, and all the comfort your family needs. Experience a lifestyle of convenience, progress, and security. Each home is crafted with care, ensuring your family enjoys every moment. Rehoboth Havens is more than just a gated estate. It's a vibrant community. From safe playgrounds to serene surroundings, it's the perfect place for families to thrive. Join a growing community that values safety, comfort, and affordable housing. Your future starts here. Rehoboth Havens, where your housing dream becomes a reality. Visit www.rehobothsocialhousing.com to learn more.
Here's Kwame and Yao. After hours of planning, both have locked in the same perfect multi-bet. Big win for United, over 1.5. And both teams to score in the London Derby. But who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the Bridge? There's nothing worse than having your perfect multi-bet missing. But there's nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver. Win, even if your bet misses.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Apomode wonsem yemfen diagro enunti nese wonom edepapa nko a Exodus moringa capsules ene Exodus dandelion capsules efi Exodus elusuyanum na ebeboa wa pomode emu bia wo benya no betimi aboa nanso se woyi to no a wo betimi anom abom na ebeboa papa se wonom Exodus moringa capsules ne Exodus dandelion capsules eboa mamoje di efusani yie na fe ebusi wo immune system no na kweti ayarewa ahodo menim yie se nipa dodo na nim dia moringa etumi ye na dandelion so ye nim enunti me nkasa bedru enye mma apemfo ana abatan ya oma enifo ana abofra onya emfidu Exodus efu dance die dos.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Well, I'll let you into a panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but I have some good news from MTN for you as we get into the Yuletide. And I'm going to go through that with you, and then we'll find out who my panel are for this morning's conversation. I can tell you that there could be a serious prayer session on the show this morning. Let me keep your mind wandering a bit, but we could have a serious prayer time this morning. Okay, all right. Okay, so MTN says to inform you that with the buy now, pay later with Sametro, you can now buy a sleek and trendy smartphone and enjoy the luxury of paying in convenient weekly or monthly installment plans. All you have to do is walk into any of MTN service centers to choose your favorite from a wide range of mobile phones on offer. The best part is all phones come with up to 2 gigabytes free data, so you can share your pictures and get all the biggest scoops online for the first 6 months after purchase. Go on, share the exciting news with your family and friends, and stay connected on the smart side of life with MTN and Sam Metro. All right, so with me on the show this morning, I have the government spokesperson on governance and security, and well, he probably will help us into how come the governance didn't govern, and the security also had challenges. Dr. Palgrave Boachi Dankwa is here with me on the show. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Senior.
How are you?
A little bit under the weather, but I'm good.
Okay.
It's good to be here.
All right. Okay. It's good. Good to see you. It takes a lot of courage and what they call on the street vim, you know, to show up these days. So I really appreciate the fact that you're here. Okay. All right. So there's a giant slayer here with me on the show. One of the highlights of election 2024. One of the things that, well, were projected by the polls of Global Info Analytics, which led to people calling the guys at Global Info Analytics many names, because it sounded impossible, incomprehensible, and quite the ninth wonder. But guess what? It happened. It happened. And I'm sure a lot of people are still asking, is it true? Is it not true? But Well is here with us. One of the biggest upsets in the parliamentary elections of the 2024 elections happened in the Ablekuma West constituency, where the member of parliament who's ran 3 terms was beaten, and it wasn't a narrow one. Well, who did that? He has a title. He's Kwekwado, but he has a title. And the title is Reverend. Okay, so they probably will now add Honorable to it. Reverend, Honorable, Reverend, one of them. Okay, so the Reverend Kweku Ado, as the MP-elect for the Ablekuma West constituency, he defeated the Honorable Aslausu Ekufo, Minister of Communications, in the just ended parliamentary elections. Reverend, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Like my brother said, I have a severe cold, but because we've scheduled, we needed to be here.
Okay.
And I'm happy. That's my first time on your show anyway.
Yes,
so, it's appreciated.
Yes, we'll manage it. But first of all, I mean, as for Parkgrave, they all know him, so it's fine. You are the one who we don't know, although you become popular by virtue of what happened between the 7th and the 8th of December. But who are you? I know what people say you are, but who are you?
It's just like Christ asked who.
Yes.
Kweku Ado, I hail from Akwemufie.
Akwemufie.
In the eastern region.
Atimpoku.
Okay, just after the bridge.
Okay. Right.
And you know, and I started schooling in homeschool at South Labadi.
Yes.
And then went to St. Anthony's Preparatory.
The Latabi Okoshi one.
The Latabi Okoshi one, yes. And then I moved on to Suhum Sectec.
Okay.
You know, and thereafter I went to Kumasi Institute of Tropical Agric. And then in the early 90s, I traveled a bit to go and hustle.
Oh, okay.
But now I run a real estate agency, and then the director for a basic school in Dansoman.
Okay.
You know, so, and I was a 2020 parliamentary candidate.
2020?
Yes.
Okay, so this is your second?
This is my second run.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically, I'm married with 5 children and living a simple life.
Quite a busy man. Anyway, so at which point did the Reverend come in? Is it a nickname?
No.
Okay.
Well, you know, I grew up in a Christian home.
Okay.
3 of my brothers are also ministers.
Oh, okay. Any of your parents was a minister?
No,
okay.
But my mother was
a strong Christian.
A strong Christian, morning devotion every morning. That type. So it's something we just grew up with. Okay. But then I was
same as myself. So.
I was with Lighthouse for a long time.
Okay.
And then joined the Hour of Solutions in Dansoman. So I was ordained about 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's just the love for God and the things of God.
So why didn't you decide to form your own church instead of going to Parliament?
I don't think I have that call.
Okay.
You know, those who form their church, it's a grace. I don't want to go into spiritual things too much, but many people have started churches that from I understand maybe they shouldn't have. Because you need special grace to start a church. Because running a church is not easy. For us, even as associates, you know, laboring in the night for people, you know, you go around and you can't do it. But for somebody who is holding a church, the attacks that you go through, the supplications you have to make for people, it requires more than just being a minister. You know, so I've always been a good assistant in the church. But I think I have a bit of the administrative grace in church. So I rather keep it than going to do what founders are supposed to be doing.
Do you prophesy?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yes.
So did you prophesy your victory?
No. But I prayed for a victory.
Okay.
I prayed for a victory.
Okay. So at which point in time did you get into politics?
You know, I've always loved governance.
Okay.
You know, I used to follow the American politics, leadership, you know, and stuff like that. But actually, I think about a few years back in my community, Dansoman, being the head
How
of...
long have you lived there?
Oh, since 1978.
Okay.
For about 40-something years.
Okay.
It's just the community thing. You know, I was like, oh, we used to have water issues. And I said, oh, I spoke to a few of the neighbors, let's come together and dig a borehole. They said, oh, no, wait there, you know. So then I dug it. Now when there's no water, everybody comes to queue. Then people started coming, well, I need help me with the school fees. But I think people perceive people running school as well-to-do, you know. So then in the community...
Is the school yours?
It was for my mother.
Okay, so
I inherited it.
You inherited it, okay.
Yeah, you know, so...
What's the name of the school?
Odarin Christian School.
Okay.
Christian
Basic school?
Basic school, from crèche to JHS.
Okay, all right.
You know, so then it was, oh, I need scholarship, oh, my brother is sick. So like community help. And then it so happened on my street, we didn't have gutters. So I championed it by, you know, getting to the assemblyman, walking through, and then we got a gutter in front of on our street. You know, so it was like everything, Kweku. Then after reading through the NDC constitution, I don't know, hey, that's not a bad group, you know. So a friend of mine, whilst I was in the US, there was one guy, Humphrey Mensah, E.T. Mensah's son.
My mate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're friends, and he invited me to a couple of the...
He passed on.
Yes.
We buried him in 2020.
That's
just
right.
before COVID.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You know, so...
Buga.
Yes. So I visited some of their meetings about twice in DC. So when I came, then he came around and he said, oh, Charlie, let's think go feed one. And then the NDC in the neighborhood, a few of them contacted me in 2018. Said, oh, the way you are doing things, I think you can be of help to us. And so that was when now I read the Constitution. And I thought it was very simple enough, very humane. So then primaries came, 2019. I stood, and luckily I won.
First time?
First time.
Whoa.
So I stood with one gentleman, PDA.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord, yeah.
Yes.
So after I won, now whether you like it or not, you're on the track. So we went into the 2020. So with the 2020 elections, now looking back, I didn't know anything.
Right.
You know, it's like you just follow that. So I think after the 2021, got a better understanding of what one had gotten himself into. So then now you really have to put work into it. And that's what has brought us here.
But that constituency has never been won by the NDC from 96. From 1996.
Yes.
It's never been won by the NDC.
When it used one, if you look at the demographic of the area,
right,
you realize that from exhibition heading towards Sahara into Runabout, Zodiac, was predominantly Akans.
Right.
You know, and then the southern part was more Gan and the Evers. And
towards the coast.
Towards the coast. But then what I realized was that because in the past we had Victoria Hammer come, and then Mrs. Dinah Chum, they were both females, and then I came in as a male, which now would change the dynamics. So what I started doing was going into where the accounts were, and selling myself as one of them. And Miyopiapini, Mikechi, and then I understood why it had become more tilted towards MPP. Because when you look at the history, when Dansoman started, General Jampong had asked the Kwao people, the Ashanti to come into the estates, which they did, and then Rawlings came, and then the coup happened, and then most of them were the ones who lost their money, lost their businesses. So it was engraved in the children that PNDC, NDC
messed us up.
I remember one guy down the street in Maine, Dansoman Sahara Street. He almost fought me that NDC was the reason why he didn't go to the university, because the mother's business at Mokola went. So then you realize where they were coming from. But now for us, most of us, our parents who had that ideology have passed on or they've aged. So I took advantage of that to let them know. Yeah, my father was a gun. My dad was arrested during that period. But the fact is that now we are old.
Current realities.
How do we deal with Dansoman? And I focused my conversation mainly on Dansoman. The biggest estates, do we really have what it deserves for us to be proud of? And so that's how that aspect of conversation started. And the response over time, you realize that it wasn't that bad. Then also I realized that many people had, the original owners, most of them had moved out. So now there were new people who had come in who are not of that kind of thinking. So I saw it to be open, you know, and all I had to do, work more on the side that tilts towards NDC and then make people understand, no, we can do it together, you know. So for me, it looked, and then also, to be honest, I think in 2019, my advisors or my team sat and said, how do we market you? Strong member of parliament, a minister, stand against it. Then we looked at our personalities. Then we looked at the guy I went to primaries with, who also have similar. So then I have to be the opposite of both. Keep the calm demeanor and let people see the contrast, and then let people make their decisions. So these were some of the things that made me feel, when we do what we see, it was possible for us to be able to win.
All right. So we'll get back to this, but Palgrave, I kind of expose you a bit. People do not know that background of yours. I was going to call you Evangelist Palgrave. A lot of people they don't know that you used to preach the gospel.
I still do.
You still do?
I still do.
Okay.
My quiet moments.
Maybe give us a bit of that, that part of you that people don't know. People know Palgrave, the political communicator.
Okay, Dr. Abe. So let me first congratulate Reverend Kwekwado on the victory, and to state that yes, I mean for a number of us that were born in a particular regime, we were very much indoctrinated as Christians, and being baptized as a Catholic at St. Maron's Catholic Church at Osu, and further on during the military regime, going to live with my uncle as a guardian at Burma Camp, and joining the St. George's Anglican Church and serving Mass on the altar, right up till I got to Adisado College to serve Mass in the Anglican school as well. And I was pivotal in Scripture Union, writing Bible quizzes, especially when we had vacations in the US, and we'll write Bible quizzes and they'll give us little paper certificates and the likes. And right after university, there's always that cardinal part where you ask God what to do with your life. And being actively involved in student politics at the time, you know that Senior Kujato Ablakwa, I was part of his team, actually was major in his campaign team as NUC's president at the time.
Right.
And I served in the SRC as the chair for the vetting committee at the time of Samia Wuku, when they were vying for SRC president, Igwe and the likes. So right after University of Ghana, I pursued full-time Christian mission work, where I went to South Africa to study for my advanced Christian youth ministry at the South African Theological Seminary in Pretoria. And I became a Christian youth missionary. And I was commissioned as a missionary in Edenville Baptist Church, because at the time then I'd moved from the Anglican Church to the Baptist Church, so Edenville Baptist Church in Johannesburg. And I joined a mission organization, which was Jesus Life Africa, primarily into disciple making. And so throughout my years from 2009 till 2017, I'd worked with Jesus Life Africa and traveled to over 78 countries, discipling people for Christ, gone to underground churches in some Asian countries, Indonesia, China, and a few others.
That was quite risky.
Djibouti, very, very, very risky. And I also served a lot in Ghana as well. Started Bible schools for Reverend Istunanaba. I lectured in Achumana Access Bible School in Dansuman, where the MP is. Also lectured at the Dominion University for the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. Done a lot of good work, written a lot of Christian books, about 38 of that.
Whoa.
Published too, a few unpublished works. And so at the part of 2015, I resigned from my mission organization to pursue further academic studies, to do a master's at Spurgeon's College in London, and then further on to do a PhD. And the goal was to go into further academic teaching. And at the time, I'd also worked and lived in Israel and studied Jesus' life over a period of 3.5 years of what Jesus did. And yeah, I mean, there were various temptations to start churches, but I felt that there was a lot more God wanted us to do beyond starting a church. And with the background of the understanding of the synagogue church and the early church, we knew that it wasn't just a structure, but it was just about human beings. And so in the fallout of some prophetic directions and how all throughout the engagement of mission work, you enter into countries with projects. And so you can't enter into dark countries with the Bible. You would go into those countries with developmental projects, so building schools, hospitals, boreholes and the likes. So it was more of humanitarian services, but in the midst of that you add the gospel. So you gospelize whilst you bring the developmental projects. So I came to Ghana in 2018 to pursue further public service. And so that's where the reintroduction of politics came in, because then at the time from University of Ghana I was involved in politics. Minded to state that my family is very political. Dr. J.B. Dankwa is my grandfather, and all of the other history that you would know. And so when I came to Ghana, worked at Dankwa Institute as the deputy, and further on I felt that the New Patriotic Party needed a lot more civil society organizations. So I started Kandefo Institute, which was primarily to look at the involvement of young people, preparing them for effective governance. And so we did that effectively for about 2 years.
Kandefo was a pioneer?
Yeah, leader.
Leader?
Yeah, leader,
Okay.
Kandefo, leader,
Okay.
yeah. So I started Kandefo Institute, trained over 500,000 young people across the length and breadth of the country. It was apolitical, not affiliated to any political party, but the ideologies were very clear on building leadership. We were then further on accredited by the Duke of Edinburgh International Award Scheme to be an award operating house for Ghana. And we worked effectively till my role came in as the spokesperson on governance and security. I've also gone for elections. You recall that this year I went for elections in the Buakwanof constituency, which is where my uncle was, J.B. Dankwedu, may he so rest in peace. And the goal was to go into the 9th Parliament, but as it is, it's not what happens.
Who won?
Nana Kwame Addo-Frimpong.
Okay.
He won the elections very well, and I've congratulated him as well. So yeah, so it's good to serve the Lord. It's good to have religious people involved in the processes of governance. It brings a lot more sanity. The disappointment is when people are not able to live out the true ethos of the Christianity. Because one of the things that are cardinal points for me is 1 John 2:6. And I like to quote it in the King James Version that says that if indeed you say you're a disciple of Christ, you owe it as a personal debt to live as he lived and to walk as he walked.
So one of the things that people raise has to do with political communication, especially when you're communicating for a party in government, and there are a lot of scandals and there are a lot of negative news and all that. You sometimes feel conflicted when you need to canvass a position, defend a certain position, and you know that the position you're taking is for political expediency. Do you have that kind of conflict and distress in trying to align your Christian values against your political work?
So I'm working on a book on leadership, and I'm sure I'm sharing a lot more of that in it. One of the things that I can say is that you have a work to do, and you must be able to deliver on the work. However, in the midst of the work that you have to do, for me as a political commentator, I'm not fully involved in the decision-making process. I'm just at the end part of the process where I need to communicate the decisions that have been made. And in communicating the decisions that have been made, it's also critically important that it aligns, like 1 John 2:6, to live as he lived and to walk as he walked. And I'm very certain that anyone that has followed my political conversations will be very clear about the fact that there's been some very good stance of objectivity. However, places where are very slippery, obviously, because I'm not the decider, but I need to communicate that. I have to communicate that because of the unionism of the government's position, and also the unionism of the political position. And so where I might feel conflicted might be areas where I feel these are difficult times. And so in those areas, I've always asked God to give me wisdom. I'll give you a typical example.
Right.
Just about a few weeks leading to the election, my very good friend and senior, the Honorable Okujato Ablakwa, especially when Shraj had brought out the report on the cathedral, and you remember that Reverend Kwesi Boateng was heavily involved in that. And so on key points on TV3, when they asked me the question, when Alfred asked the question how I felt about this, one of the things that I stated was that it would be right for Reverend Kwesi Boateng to come out himself and bring clarity to this. And I mean, after all, I had people who had sent me messages stating that those were very clear words. I mean, because it's difficult to carry the responsibility of someone upon your head, especially when you are not the person that has been involved in it. So I've been very clear in my mind about my roles. I've been very clear in my mind about my directions. And I've been very clear in my mind that it's important that 1 John 2:6 for me is cardinal. So when I get to the opportunity of being part of the decision-making process, it would be very instrumental because those decisions must reflect the very core values that I have.
Okay, so let's now get to the politics itself. Your victory, has it sunk in now? Are you on ground reality, or you're still dreaming? You know, there's this gospel song, Diana or something.
I'm not sure whether it's sunk in or not, because after the declaration, we took a walk through town to thank people, and then you've spoken about the issues, but then now you walk through Glefe, you see the rubbish on your left, you look at the Jatakbo silt, and then you're like, wow, you know, wow. So now your mind...
So the enormity of the responsibility. Okay.
You know, but then you still come out and say that we're going to make it happen. You understand? So yesterday I had the privilege of stopping by our parliament for a brief meeting, and then I was like, hey, so we are here. we are here. So in as much as it's kind of settled in, also trying to bring your mind to how to now get it all done also comes to your mind. And so then it's fulfilling though, but then yet still it's also energizes you to really set up and start preparing to do what you have to do. So even since the declaration, we've not slept. We're still putting plans together, what else to do, who to do what, just for the work. So it's an interesting feeling. It's not like one is overly excited, but one is proud that and humbled also that God has given one the privilege to also come and do something, you know, because for us as ministers, and I believe anytime or anywhere you find yourself.
When you say ministers, you mean ministers of the gospel?
Ministers of the gospel,
Okay.
yeah, ministers of the gospel. You know, the standards are always higher for you. You know,
Yeah.
because people expect
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
And so then it's something you have to deal with. So basically, we are ready. We are ready, and I believe with the grace, and we, you know, like as you were saying, I believe that you don't change because of circumstances. You know, a pastor of mine told me, you can go as high you can, but it's the character that can keep you there. So the prayer is that I remain who I am. Let your views be heard, and do what is right, because it's not by strength. And so long as you're able to do that, the power that brought you will guide you. You know, so that's what I look for.
Okay, so Parif, we drill down to business. I've seen this analysis by City News, and I want to share it with all of us. And it actually does a regional breakdown of the elections and the gains and losses for NDC and MPP in this election. So it says the 2024 Ghanaian presidential elections have revealed a shifting political landscape as the governing NPP and opposition NDC engage in a fierce contest. The results show significant regional gains and losses for both parties compared to the 2020 elections, while the MPP faced major declines across its traditional strongholds and battle regions. The NDC saw modest overall gains with critical improvements in specific regions. So as Ghana's fourth republic, inaugurated in 1992, has seen the NPP and NDC dominate as the two major political parties. The NPP has historically performed well in the Ashanti and Eastern regions, often described as its political backbone, while the NDC holds firm in the Volta region and parts of the Northern Belt. Swing regions such as Greater Accra, Central and Western often decide the outcome of elections. In the 2020 elections, the NPP's Nana Akufo-Addo secured victory with a strong showing in urban and traditional stronghold regions. However, the 2024 elections under Mahmoud Bawumia's leadership saw a sharp decline for the MPP, while the NDC, led by former President John Dramani Mahama, consolidated its base and improved in critical areas. Now, the first one is a look at MPP's decline. And it says that it starts with Greater Accra. The NPP's most significant loss came in Greater Accra, where its votes dropped by a staggering 46%. Nana Akufo-Addo's 1,253,179 votes in 2020 fell sharply to 681,535 for Mahmoud Bawumia. Greater Accra, known for its diverse and urbanized electorate, has historically been a swing region, but increasingly leaned towards the NDC, a trend that intensified in 2024. Then Central region, a traditional swing region. Central delivered a 38% decline for the MPP. Votes plummeted from 613,804 in 2020 to 382,749. This outcome indicates a loss of confidence in the ruling party, as the NDC capitalized on voter discontent and historical ties to the region. Then Ashanti region says even in its stronghold, the NPP saw a 24% decline in the Ashanti region, with votes falling from 1,795,824 in 2020 to 1,366,800. This decline signals voter apathy and potential dissatisfaction within the party's core base. While the MPP still dominated the region, the significant reduction raises concerns for its future electoral strategies. Other notable declines for the MPP include the Volta region. It declined by 44%, Western region by 37%, Eastern region by 34%, highlighting a nationwide erosion of support. Now, the NDC's gains, a steady comeback, and the NDC capitalized on the MPP's losses, particularly in regions where voter turnout and support increased. So, Northern region. The NDC recorded its most significant gain in the Northern region, where Mahama's votes increased by 11%, rising from 476,550 in 2020 to 529,456 in 2024. This solidifies the Northern region as a critical stronghold for the NDC, aided by Mahama's roots and party's targeted campaigns. Afro region. In the smaller but competitive Afro region, the NDC increased its votes by 12%, moving from 116,485 to 130,106. This growth highlights the NDC's ability to make gains in regions where the NPP previously held a significant advantage. Then you have Bono region. The NDC posted a notable 16% increase in the Bono region, rising from 203,392 votes in 2020 to 235,681 in 2024. The NDC's success here underscores its strategy of regaining support in swing regions. Additional gains were observed In Western North, where it gained 3%, Upper West 2%, signaling modest improvements across key regions. Despite its overall gains, the NDC suffered a notable setback in Savannah, where Mahama's votes declined by 7%, from 144,244 to 134,563. As Mahama's home region, this result may reflect dissatisfaction with the NDC's local performance or campaign efforts. At the national level, the MPP's total vote count dropped by 30.8%, falling from 6,730,587 in 2020 to 4,657,304 in 2024. The NDC, on the other hand, achieved a modest national increase of 1.9%, rising from 6,213,182 votes to 6,328,397. The overall trend indicates significant voter dissatisfaction with the MPP, particularly in urban areas and swing regions. While the NDC made gains, its growth was concentrated and modest, highlighting the need for both parties to reassess their strategies ahead of future elections. And the key takeaways are this. NPP's losses: Greater Accra, minus 46%, Volta, minus 44%, Central, minus 38%. These regions mark the most severe setbacks. NDC's gains: the party's strongest improvement came in Northern region, plus 11%, Ahafo plus 12, Bono plus 16. The NDC 7% decline in Savannah stands out as a key challenge despite its overall gains. And the conclusion is that the 2024 elections have reshaped Ghana's regional political map, with the NPP facing unprecedented declines in key regions and NDC making measured gains. As both parties reflect on the outcomes, it's clear that the voter priorities, urban shift, and regional dynamics will continue to influence Ghana's political future, and the results underscore a growing need for both parties to engage deeply with voters in both traditional strongholds and swing regions to remain competitive in the years ahead. There's a similar but more dire picture when it comes to parliamentary. We'll get there later on. But we can also look at the electoral map of Ghana now, after this election, the regional map of Ghana, and what the results of the election means, where the NDC stands in terms of its strength across the country, and where the MPP stands in terms of its strength in this country. So we'll show you. So that's the electoral map of Ghana after the 2024 elections. So you see that the green is virtually everywhere. And if you look at the three where you have the blue, the key thing is that even the northeast and the eastern are just marginal victories. I mean, these are places where the NDC got up to 47, close to 48%. So almost half in it. Ashanti remained still the key place where the MPP still had in excess of 60%. I think about some 66% or so. That's Ashanti. For Eastern, I think the NDC made up to 47%. Northeast, the difference was about some 20,000 votes or so. So this is the electoral map of Ghana after the 2024 elections. What went wrong, Doc?
Doc, let me congratulate the President-elect, John Dramani Mahama. He's elevated his role from a flag bearer of the opposition party to now President-elect of the incoming government. Let me also congratulate the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, together with the rank and file of the New Patriotic Party, and also commend President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for activating the transitional period. We went into an election. We formed different campaign teams. We campaigned on a message of bold solutions and selfless leadership. We crisscrossed the length and breadth of this country. We had the team of the flag bearer, the running mates, their spouses, the national executives, and some government appointees. I think that sitting on a network to analyze what went wrong would be washing our very beautiful dresses out there. One of the things that I can state is that there were key factors that the Ghanaian were looking for. And I have sought to just pick one of those factors. Because upon reflection, I can clearly appreciate the depth of devastation that that particular project has caused the Ghanaian people. And there are many more that that would be for an in-house discussion. Doug, you recall that government had to go through a domestic debt exchange program. And there were reasons why government had to do that. But on the high side of that, there were people that were hit largely by that. In the thousands of people, some had to picket, which was an unordinary way of exhibiting their protest against government's decision to domestically restructure their debts and also restructure their terms of payment in terms of bonds that they had put in. For me, having come out of such a defeat, I pick one of the pillars as impact of our loss on government's difficult decision that we had to make to do the domestic debt exchange program. It hit many people, and I had many calls from different people before the election and after the election who were good sympathizers of the New Patriotic Party, who appreciated the works of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, however, quietly stated that that's a big hit. They are normal citizens of this country who are not politicians, who go about their private work, but the domestic debt exchange program hit them largely. It was a very difficult position for government. Government had to do it. Government did it, and we have had many repercussions out of that. So for me, whilst we go back home in terms of opposition, whilst the leader of the party, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, begins to meet with the national executives and dovetails to the regional executives, the constituency executives, the polling stations, and the rank and file of the grassroots, our goal is to regroup, restructure, bounce back a lot more stronger. And I'm minded to state that there's been lessons that we have had to learn over the years, because this is not the first time that a government is losing election.
But not this magnitude.
Absolutely. We went into the 2008 election. We lost the 2008 election. The NDC that has won the election now lost the 2016 election. And now we have gone into the 2024 election as an 8-year tenure, 4-year tenure mandatory for every single sitting president. It clearly signifies the challenges that we had to go through as a government, particularly from after the second term, when we had to make very difficult decisions, bold decisions that would keep the economy running. And much as we appreciate the fallouts of the elections, which is not what we expected, because we expected that we would win the election, and we didn't expect that the NDC would win the election. But clearly, winning 3 regions, which is Ashanti, Eastern, and Northeast, and having that the remaining 13 regions significantly have moved to the NDC, bearing in mind that the voter turnout was about 60.9, marginally about 39.03 people that didn't turn out to vote. The argument, however, cannot be made that if people had turned out to vote, they would have voted for the NPP or the NDC. So we don't want to go into that argument or narrative. But it's also significant to state.
On the basis of what you said, just to support what you said, I'm going to, in the course of the program, I'm going to also share the national exit poll by Global Info Analytics, where you would actually see that irrespective of the low turnout, and the low turnout first of all was nationwide, so it wasn't restricted to a particular stronghold, and then you would find that even amongst those who voted, a critical number of people who voted A voted B. So beyond the issue of the low voter turnout, there is the issue of even those who turn out to vote, they changing their preferences. And that's how come last week when a lot of people were making it about 2 million of our people didn't vote. I said, look, that's very pedestrian. And anyway, people who want to deal with data and facts and are research minded will not go into that. That's it, but just go on.
I mean, obviously it means that we both went to good schools.
I attended the University of Tudu.
You know, but also looking at that, to state very clearly that we can appreciate the results of the 2020 election, of how much we had won, and even the 2016 election and how much we had won. But it's also significant to state that, yes, you need a lot more data, dig deep data to be able to analyze people, first-time voters, and where they voted towards, and people that clearly were neutral voters, and people that were impacted by the government's, some of the government's policy decisions in terms of the economy. And for me, I picked the domestic debt exchange program because it impacted everybody. If you have an uncle in Accra who has to remit money to a sister in the village, or has children outside the country and you need to change Ghana cedi into forex to be able to send to their children, it's a big impact, very clearly. But as we withdraw back into a responsible opposition government, these are things we would look at. And whilst looking at that, one of the things that I want to admonish to my entire political party is that we should learn lessons that would be lasting lessons. Because there's no need learning lessons and then unlearning those lessons when you have power. And so that's where I would want to focus my conversation, is that the lessons we learn out of the defeat of the 2024 general elections should be lessons that are stuck in stone, that will not be repeated when we win elections again. And we pray that in the 2028 general elections, the Ghanaian people would give us an opportunity. So those would be a bit of my reflections on some of the percentages. But it's very colossal. It's very disappointing. And all the words that you can use. But life has its up and downs. When you topple down in the manner in which David toppled down Goliath, when you topple down, you need to rise up again. And I'm very certain that these are very stormy seasons for our party, for our government, but we would be able to rise up again. And also to conclude on this point, to state that I hear people talk about the legacy of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And I mean, Dr. Randy, you and I would agree very much that significantly, if we're supposed to even put it on a value chain, the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done significantly his best, as he had to, based on the promises that he made to the Ghanaian people. And as a leader, as a nation that is not worth celebrating its leaders, is not worth dying for. It's important that we begin to celebrate our leaders, regardless of the political persuasions that you may be in.
Right. Reverend, let me take your views on this.
It's interesting how everything went on election day. Because I think most expectation, even for NDC, were going to win. But I don't think to that magnitude, I would suppose. Generally, as you said, the NDC made gains almost across majority of the regions, and it reflected from the ward base to the constituencies and all. But I think the apathy that was shown, whether it would have been in favor of either party, was great. Because in my constituency, a lot of people would say, oh, I will go and vote, and they never did show up. But in talking to people, you realize that it was all stemmed from the economy, how people felt. And say that I believe 8 years ago, there was so much hope. People look forward to a very bright future because of the promises with the free SHS, one district, one factory, one district, $1 million. People believed that it would have brought a great change to them. So over time, when that was not being seen, but then it felt more of people getting into hardship, prices going up every day or every so often, people begin to feel as though they have been taken for granted. And I think that also leads to the apathy that was shown. But with NDC, yes, we've won. But I also think the expectation that Ghanaians are expecting from us, it's so great that personally I get a little worried and hope that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, as he has said, will help for us to be able to cut expenditure, focus on what is good for the Ghana people, rebuild the economy with the 24-hour economy plan, the national skills training program, just to get the youth back to work and all. Because when you look at the decline for the MPP, it must have been big. But if you look at the gains of the NDC, it was little across the nation, which indicates that it's not just a group of people or a particular area that felt the pinch, but it was something which was across the country. You look at the youth unemployment. You know, people had the hope of doing this national corps and things like that, and then now most of them are back home, and those who may have worked still did not get their salaries. So then people are discouraged. In my constituency, you look at the young boys who do the betting, and they complain about the taxes on bet. You meet the businessmen, they complain about the taxes when they during their importations. So then you realize that everything became so difficult for everybody that for us who run schools, for instance, the basic schools, people were not being able to pay their fees as they were supposed to. And then for personally, you find the difficulty around everywhere. And many a time, I think people vote based on how they feel, because there are a majority of people who are not really politically inclined, like NDC or NPP, who we call the floating voters. They just want to be comfortable in their pockets, you know. But when I remember one time, I asked that they buy lunch for me, gave my secretary 50 cedis, and didn't bring change, you know. And I was like, are you sure? And the food wasn't anything special, you know. So then I start to think that, what about the person who makes maybe 700-800 cedis a month? Mm-hmm. How are they going to survive? You know, and in our real estate business, we saw how prices were skyrocketing in rents, and then people are complaining. Those that build also are complaining with the spend. So every sector you look at, everybody seems to be complaining. You know, so I think that's all played role. But on the other hand, I think NDC for once also did something good towards the election, in the preparation towards the election, the vigilance, the agent trainings, the understanding that nobody will work for you in your constituency, but you have to do it yourself. So everybody was on guard. But that one too, I think maybe being in opposition for a long time, it makes you start thinking right. You understand? It makes you start, because 3 days ago, we had a meeting where like, how come we've not been doing all these things all these election years?
So I've come up with a position that I've espoused on this show, I think about some 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I say that I've come to a conclusion, and I think the 2024 election has vindicated that position.
Okay.
Whether it will be so moving on is another matter, but as we speak, I'll repeat it. So that I've realized that when parties are in government, money precedes strategy. When they are in opposition, strategy precedes money.
That would be right. That would be right, because going into the elections, we all knew NDC had gone to the 2020 elections. There was no money. How much more even in 2024? But then you realize that when you look, and I want to say,
in the abundance of money, people don't work hard. They just build budgets and chop money. Yes. When in the absence of money, people think and strategize a lot and work harder.
Yes, I agree. And but on that note, I think I want to salute our election director, Dr. Omani Buama. I think he and his team, and Dr. Computer Rashid, they did a yeoman's job. The way they organized us, the series of trainings, meetings, and giving us a perspective of what was at stake, I think helped. And for me personally, in my constituency too, I'll have to acknowledge my constituency executives.
Right.
I think they did well, and all there. You know that. You know, there was a criteria for those who became agents. You know, and when that instruction came forth, there were a lot of misunderstanding going on. But now,
people appreciate it.
Appreciate it. You know, and so like I think, but it would be good if there could be money and we can still think.
Yes. I mean, how to get that mix right?
Yes.
Yeah. How to get that mix right is what is missing. Yes.
Yes. Because if you have money and you could think and do all these things right, then I think we'll have a win-win.
In fact, it is possible. It is possible.
It is possible, yes.
But it's not been done. It's not been done. I'm sure that it has to do with even our daily lives. When you don't have enough, then you begin to prioritize. Then you begin to have your scale of preference, and you begin to even question. I don't now say 15 cedis, and yet 12 cedis. But when you really have the money in excess, they bring the thing, you don't even go take it. And that's how it's been.
But I hope that this time around, His Excellency John Dramani, being his second time and having been through both, will be able to help us get the mix right. You know, because I heard him on Sunday talk about how he intends to guide his appointees, and I think it should not just be a matter of talk, but we or those that will be appointed to should take note that Ghanaians are looking up to us. If we don't do right, this diagram that we saw could switch.
Yes.
Because now Ghanaians have become more discerning on the issues that surrounds them. You know, and I think with the social media and thing, information moves and travels so fast that a lot of people are understanding the daily thing. So we pray. And I think all of us, when we get this platform, to even encourage our partners to also do right. You know, and also, I think it's living in moderation. Living in moderation. And in these times, what the entire Ghanaian, our culture should go back to cutting expenditure on things that do not really matter. And I believe when we do that, it will help us. So we look forward for better years ahead in our governance.
Right. Okay. So let's look at well, because of the width of the gap, so it looks like we are done, but in fact we're not done, especially with the parliamentary seats, and we have a few issues that we need to deal with. So if you look at page 3 of the Daily Guide, it says that the ruling NPP, the story is filed by Ebenezer Mponsa, has called on the Electoral Commission to immediately resume the collation of parliamentary results for the rest of the constituencies that have been under contention in order to uphold the democratic will of voters who participated in the just ended elections. Speaking at a press conference at the party's headquarters in Accra today, a former national chairman of the party, Peter McMahon, said resumption of the collation exercise will help settle any lingering uncertainties that have characterized the December 7 election. He said verifiable data from their collated pink sheet results show that MPP's parliamentary candidates from the constituencies won the seats in all the areas that have been put on hold by the EC due to disruptions by alleged attacks of the NDC. He therefore implored the National Election Security Task Force to provide adequate security at the collation centers to facilitate peaceful collation of results. Quote, we are very certain that our parliamentary candidates in above-mentioned constituencies won the election. This conclusion is based on verifiable data from pink sheets, as we have consistently demonstrated. It is therefore our expectation that the EC would immediately resume the collation exercise. The 12 constituencies where the parliamentary results have been disputed after the December 7 elections are the Ahafo North South West, Akwatia, Suhum, Fanti Akwa North, Insawa Medwajiri, and Techiman. The rest are Blekuma North, Okankwe Central, Tema Central, Domkwa Benya, Ahafo North, and Obuasi East. He said, though the MPP candidates won other constituencies under contention, including Fanti Akwa North, Akwatia, and Suhum, the NDC hoodlums have continuously disrupted collation of results at the centers because they've lost those parliamentary seats. They said the alleged thugs who are supporters of the NDC engaged in acts including destroying all pink sheets they could lay their hands on, destroying ballot boxes and other electoral materials, and beating up electoral officers and party representatives who challenged them. And he also cited examples of some of the constituencies where some of the supporters of the NDC disrupted the coalition. Okay. Now, in a related development, Gabriel Abdul Razak also reports that the National Democratic Congress has gone to court seeking to stop the Electoral Commission from recollating and redeclaring the parliamentary results for Domkwa Benya, Okankwe Central, Ablekuma North, Tema Central, and Obuasi East constituencies. So 5. Domkwa Benya, Okankwe Central, Ablekuma North, Tema Central, and Obuasi East from recollating and redeclaring, because there have been declarations in these 5 already. Now, this follows controversy surrounding results from these constituencies, which have become a source of uncertainty and disturbances. The NDC, in a lawsuit filed before a high court in Accra, contends that the EC no longer has the power to recollate, recount, and redeclare the results of the already declared election results in the stated constituencies. The Electoral Commission last Friday declared the parliamentary results for Domkwa Benya, Okankwe Central, Ablekuma North, and Tema Central constituencies illegal, stating that it cannot be upheld. Deputy Chairperson of the EC in charge of operations, Mr. Samuel Tete, made his announcement last Friday at the Commission's headquarters in Accra. He explained that the results were deemed invalid due to interference by party supporters who disrupted proceedings at collation centers and coerced EC staff into declaring results for the preferred candidates. But the NDC has filed a lawsuit seeking to prohibit the EC from undertaking any exercise of recollating and declaring an eventual winner in these constituencies, arguing that it does not have the power to perform that assignment. Other applicants aside the party are Faustina Likplim, Akurugu, Baba Siddiq, Erabno bin Ebi Bright, and Samuel Abwaji. The applicants are seeking an order prohibiting the respondent from recollating, recounting, and redeclaring the already collated and declared parliamentary election results in Domkwa Benya, Okankwe Central, Ablekuma North, and Tema Central constituencies. They want a declaration that by virtue of Article 99 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and Section 16 of PNDC Law 284, it is the High Court of Ghana that has the exclusive original jurisdiction to invalidate the declaration of parliamentary election results and not the respondent. The applicants are also seeking a declaration that the EC's position that declaration of parliamentary results for Domkwa Benya, Okankwe Central, Ablekuma North, and Tema Central constituencies as illegal and invalid on grounds of purported threats by applicant supporters and failure of officers of the EC to follow legal procedures due to purported threats by NDC supporters violates Article 99 of the 92 Constitution, Section 60 and 20 of the PNDC Law 284, hence null, void, and of no legal effect. Again, the applicants want an order of certiorari quashing the decision of the EC purportedly nullifying the parliamentary election results in these 5 constituencies during this press conference last Friday. The NDC further wants an order directed at the EC to submit the names of Faustina Likplim, Akurugu, Baba Siddiq, Erabno bin Ebi Bright, and Samuel Abwaji for publication in the Gazette. The party also wants an order of perpetual injunction restraining the EC, its assigns, agents, previous servants, employees, worksmen, and any other person acting on its behalf without an order of a court with competent jurisdiction from recollating and recounting and redeclaring the declared election results in the constituencies in contention. And in a related development, a director of elections and IT for the NDC, Dr. Eduardo Manibu, has accused the Electoral Commission of engaging in actions he described as criminal. He alleged that the Commission has allowed unsigned and unverified pink sheets to circulate, raising concerns about transparency and accountability in the electoral process. In a strongly worded statement, he cautioned that the EC's actions would not go unnoticed, warning of impending accountability. Quote, when a criminally minded Electoral Commission, Ghana, allows empty pink sheets to float freely, the day of accountability awaits them after January 7, he stated. Pink sheets, which serve as official records of election results at polling stations, play a critical role in ensuring the integrity of Ghana's elections. The NDC's allegation of unverified pink sheets raises serious concerns about the credibility of the process of collating results in some disputed constituencies after the December 7 general elections and its potential implications for the results. The Electoral Commission has not yet responded to these claims. Progress.
Doug, it's going to be a very long session of court issues.
Yes.
And long session of battling between the MPP and the NDC and the Electoral Commission. It's very, very interesting.
But what it means is that as we speak, there are no disputes about 264.
Yes.
The disputes are about 12.
Yes.
The NDC is going to court on 5.
Yes.
Where declarations have been made already. The NPP is speaking about 12, including these 5. Okay.
So it's going to be a long hurdle of court issues and interpretations and powers and reign. You know, as we observed the coalition and we observed some purported forcibly declaration of MPs elects and reports that have been given by electoral officers to their superiors, which is the Electoral Commission HQ headquarters, that they were coerced and forced to declare seats in favor of the NDC. Very, 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 very troubling developments. I sat home, I watched on TV, I saw how certain MPs in the 8th Parliament who have also retained their seat going to the 9th Parliament were heavily involved in coalition centers, how some supporters were hitting the table, threatening electoral officers and their families, and how electoral officers had to now be dictated to at some instances from some of the videos that were made public on the declaration of some people, and how they were convinced to lift up the hand of an MP elect. You know, this is a law-abiding country. Rule of law, CI 127 is very clear that yes, when the returning officer for the parliamentary, which is the regional officer for the Electoral Commission, declares based on the mandate of the Ghanaian people, and you disagree, you go to the High Court. What the CI does not say is that when one is coerced and forced to declare results with threats of their life, the CI does not say that you would go to the High Court. There's a vacuum there. However, when the Electoral Commission, HQ, headquarters, believes that these results is not reflective of what the people have in terms of pink sheets, in terms of margins, in the parliamentary, it's a simple +1. Once you win with a +1, you are the MP elect. Whether 5,000 margin, 2,000 margin, 3,000 margin, 700 margin, whatever it is, you are the MP elect. So in places where you know very well, like Ablekumanov and other places, like in Sawoma Doji, you know very well that an MPP MP has
Who knows very well?
The people that have voted, the pink sheets are there to prove that X number of people have voted for this particular parliamentary candidate. And it appeared as though the majority now, which is the number of seats that the NDC is winning or had won, it appeared as though because other places had fallen, it's almost synonymous to other places also falling. So that was a bit of the argument that was being made. So an example is maybe Ablekuma West falling and going to Reverend Kweku Ado. it appears as though then in Nsaomo Adroji would also replicate same. But what if on the pink sheet, based on the collated results, based on the evidence that we have seen, all the people within Nsaomo Adroji constituency have voted overwhelmingly for the Honorable Addo Dampare? Should we state that, bearing on the evidences that we have before us, because of the supermajority that the NDC would have in the 9th Parliament, we should then now declare all the other seats for the NDC? That should not be the argument. For me, I would only plead that before we get to the 6th of January, to allow peace to be in these constituencies, to allow sanity and clarity to be in Parliament, because you don't want a situation where these MPs elect that have had their hands lifted up by the regional officers would be in Parliament to be sworn in, and then the contesting MP who also says that I have won the election would also be in Parliament. We want this 9th Parliament to begin with the sobriety, the peace, the harmony, the respect that is needed to be an arm of government. So I'm glad that, yes, the NPP did a press conference yesterday, listed out these 13. Well, they list that it was about 13.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Ablekumanov, Dom Kwamenya, Okaikwe Central, Tema Central, Ahafo North, Ahafo North South, Akwetia, Suhum, Fantiakwa North, Nsaomo Adroji, Techiman South, Awowin, and Obuasi East. It's about 13 of that. So if you look at this list that has been made out, we would ask the EC to expedite, because the EC also has lawyers. If it needs that, the EC also goes to the High Court to tender in their evidence, so that we will see the fallout of what the judge would pronounce in terms of what the NDC has also sent out. But it's a very short time, and there are constituents that are sitting on the edge, because some people have already celebrated, and it will be an almost unheard of if some places turn blue and the green people say that we want this because it has been declared. So we need a lot more sanity, we need a lot more peace within these areas. But I'm worried why
this won't be the first time.
Absolutely, but the magnitude of it.
But in the previous Parliament,
yes,
we had bona fide Ghanaians from SAR. We had bona fide Ghanaians from Asin North. We went to court on all these issues. We were in court. For one of them, the SAL one, the judge waited. When it was less than 6 months to the end of Parliament's tenure, he said he didn't have jurisdiction. It was one of the craziest things that I've ever heard in my life. As for Asin North, we know how it went back and forth, the Supreme Court's position and verdict on it and all that, and how eventually we had to go for a by-election and all that. My point is that there are electoral disputes. The law is clear on what to do. I mean, why won't we all just let the courts decide? I mean, all of a sudden, should we have a phobia for going to court?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think that there is a phobia for going to court. I mean, the CI is very clear.
Well, just a couple of weeks ago, go to court. The refrain was go to court.
No,
all of a sudden, we look like we have a phobia.
I don't think anyone has any phobia.
It's the same judges.
Yes,
same
of course.
Nothing has changed.
Of course. But
same chairs.
When you have seen that evidences are being destroyed, like electoral offices being burnt. You know, Dr. Abe, when I sat home and I watched, I wasn't too sure whether this was Ghana or not.
Really?
To be honest.
Did you watch Techiman South in 2020? Where 8 people were killed. Did you watch Techiman South? What happened there?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Some of the incidences, that have happened with electoral violence, it's a concern for me because it's not our character, but the extent to which people had gone, burning electoral offices, burning and destruction of pink sheets. I mean, this morning I just saw that Ablekumanov, they've gone to also burn the EC office. I mean, if you look at the level of destruction, some level of peace must come in here, because now you have almost 13 constituencies that the MPP says is blue, 5 of which the NDC says is green. And these are strongholds, big numbers, okay, big numbers. And we don't want anyone to be disenfranchised. However, it says the court would be the decider, the Electoral Commission also must be a decider. But my advice to the Electoral Commission, because we'll go into an election again,
right,
Dr. Abbey, they should not wait with the delayance of the transfer of regional elections and constituencies that have been collated to announce. If the EC had begun announcing, even if it's 10, 20, it comes in batches, and they were announcing, I mean, it would have brought...
That brings to fore the creation of regional coalition centers. I mean, Dr. Afarijan said it wasn't necessary. There were people who said, look, this wasn't necessary. But we created a layer as part of the bureaucracy. So, like you said, in the past, when the election is declared at a constituency, it comes straight to the stronghold at national, and then they are able to place it on their screens, and we all see. But now, because of the creation of the regional coalition centers, all the results from the constituencies must go to the regional coalition center. So now, instead of, let's say, 276 results coming to national, it now is 16. So all must come. Now, guess what? In declaring the winner of the election, we could not also now rely on all regional. We had to now go back to constituencies. So we now had to find out which regions did not have the full complement. So which constituencies were outstanding in regions, how many votes were involved, and did the math, as Annie would say, and on the basis of that math, then pronounce a winner. So the issue of that regional collation, really, what has that added to the election?
No, you see, for me, I mean, in concluding on this before Reverend Kweku comes in, you see, the regional coalition has a role to play. Obviously, it speeds up the...
Rather?
Yeah, well, ideally, that's what's supposed to intend. I mean, the intention is that when you go to, I mean, let's use Greater Accra, there are 34 constituencies. So the region just has all of it gathered together, and then they declare and then pronounce, rather than all 34 constituencies coming to HQ. If the region is effective, if you have an effective region, it shouldn't be a problem. Ideally. I mean, even if there are delays in some parts, maybe about 2 constituencies having not come, the region should be able to go ahead and declare for us to be able to know. So all I'm proposing is that we shouldn't have a repetition of this in the 2028 general election where there are delays, because when you vote and voting ends at 5, even if you have people in the queue and it ends about 6:37, I mean, latest by midnight, you should hear some results from the constituencies, and that's all I'm saying. Okay. So that we don't have these issues. It's troubling to see that we have to carry papers of people that have voted to Greater Accra to be at the police training depot. It's difficult, because then that erodes people's trust, because then people are saying, why have I voted in Saoma Doji and the accounting in Accra and all of that? So we need to be able to rectify some of these issues.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you look at these 5 constituencies that the NDC is talking about, Ebi Bryce Place and Domain, Kwabinya, Sadiq's Place and all, the declarations were made. So now the question becomes, upon which numbers that the presiding officer conclude that I have to make this declaration. And once that declaration is made, that means for that constituency, a decision has been made.
Even if it were under duress.
Even if it's under duress. Because if you know that you feel you're under duress, you call for your regional officers to come in, and that's why the police is also there to protect you. You understand? But now, looking about, especially for the 5 in Greater Accra, when even in a polling station or in the constituency, to recount is always a problem. So how much more after all these days, the guarantee that the ballots that were in there would not have been tampered with, and that counting it will give you the exact figure. But we all understand that once pink sheets are issued, that is what the coalition officers are supposed to deal with. You know, so I think it can be an easy matter where declarations are made, if there are any court case, quickly take it to court and let the law speak so that we don't have any issues going into the 7th of January. Now, beyond that, you realize that when results are declared and then it's supposed to be overturned, are we saying that that's where my issue with the PO comes in? They didn't know what they were doing, and so they did. And then, if people were now to be agitated by it, then how do we handle it? So I think it's a very basic thing. Where declarations have been made based on the law should remain as it is. Where, like in Zoom, for instance, I think it's 2 people from the same party who are contesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The issues between Boafo and Protozwa.
Oh, okay.
Independent candidate. So that one is a different case.
So Zoom is not NDC MPP?
No, it's
okay. MPP.
Yes, more or less. So I think we should look at...
Well, they say they've not sacked them, so MPP.
So they will have to deal with it. But more seriously, I also urge that both parties and party sympathizers should take it easy. Because yesterday I also saw a video of some tires being burnt in the streets and all. Because there are other Ghanaians, and especially for the NDC, we are coming into power, hopefully to reset the agenda of Ghana, to give a new direction. This is not the time for us to get people in the streets causing mayhem. But then it will also be incumbent on the EC chair to make sure do what is right. Your people that you trained have made declarations, and I think those declarations will have to be respected. If not, the turn of the law will also have to take its own place. Now, beyond that, I was listening to an interview on TV with the Femekpo and Ibi Bright from Tema.
Yes.
And when you listen to the things that happened, the PO apparently was just adamant, knowing clearly the numbers had added up, but said, I will not declare. Because it seemed as though he was being influenced by a particular decision that he had to make. You understand? So with these issues too, I think the POs or those who were presiding over these elections also have to be called to book. You understand? To find out exactly why they didn't do what they were supposed to do or follow the channels that they were supposed to follow. But I believe that in the end, we should be able to have peace, and moving into the 9th Parliament, everything should be peaceful for the Ghanaian and for Ghana as a whole. So I would urge the EC, whatever they need to do, they should do it quickly, and also ask the citizens for us to stay calm. Because for the 5 that we believe, the NDC believes, because the declarations have been made and pink shirts have been provided, that will be a victory. So once it's a victory, there's no need to go fighting. You understand? And for the MPP, if truly there are any, in the case of Aduajiri, if there's any pink sheets that proves otherwise, I think those pink sheets also have to be submitted. You understand? So at least there will be a clarity in the way we have to move forward.
Right.
Because we are not hoping for, as the 8th Parliament started, the 9th should be same. We believe it should be better because as we progress. But also on all this, I think in 2020, the EC chair had made set some precedents by saying that if declarations are made and you are not comfortable, go to court. You understand? So if in the same vein, we have to look at it this way, then in order not to set a bad precedence again, I think the same law should hold for this period too.
All right, we'll take a break. When we return, we'll wrap up on this, and then maybe one more issue from Parliament, and then we'll call it a day. We'll be back shortly.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver.
Look around. Home also need a makeover. Mine clearly does. So we went to Ashroom and found the Como collection. It had everything we're looking for and more. Matching furniture for the entire home, designed with you in mind.
Where's Como collection? dressing up is just the grease. Always ready with a perfect accessory.
A magic dressing mirror. One look and you're ready to face the world. Or at least the kids.
A bed perfect for young men who want
A table that turns into a treasure chest.
And finally, a sofa with this grand TV unit for family time at home.
Head over to any Ashform store now and discover the new Como collection. Ashform, feel it, know it.
Ho! Christmas is in the air and it all starts at Electroma. Get amazing gift vouchers worth up to 5,000 Ghana cedis plus incredible discount of up to 60% on all your favorite electronics from smart TVs to washing machines, refrigerators, mobiles, laptops and more. Get the best deals on all big brands like LG, Brew, Samsung, Philips, Orient, Infinix, Tecno, Tamashi, Pico, Itel, HP and many more. Call or WhatsApp us on 0552 777 905. Celebrate Christmas full with goodies only at Electromart, your world of electronics.
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Here's Kwame and Yao. After hours of planning, both have locked in the same perfect multi-bet. Big win for United, over 1.5. And both teams to score in the London Derby. But who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the Bridge? There's nothing worse than having your perfect multi-bet missing. But there's nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver. Win, even if your bet misses.
This is Coastal Park, a well-demarcated gated community carved out to host your residential and commercial properties. With a minimum of 40,000 Ghana cedis, you too can own a piece of the serene site.
It's just 50 minutes drive from the Central University College, as well as just some 5 minutes drive from the Ningo Senior High School. More so, just in case you live somewhere in Adam and you want to take that excursion to many of those areas along the Volta estuary, this is the right property for you to invest in.
Great news from Estate Masters Limited. We're running a 10% discount promo on all sites to celebrate our 10th year anniversary. Join in the celebration by becoming an Estate Master. Enjoy benefits such as free site visits throughout the duration, free indenture, and free site plan. Contact us for more information. Remember, T's and C's apply. Estate Masters Limited, your most preferred estate partner.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Dr. Palgrave, Boachi Danko, and Reverend Kweku Ado. Yes, Palgrave, let's wrap up on this. And
yes. Dr. Abe, wrapping up, you know that the CI 127 clearly stipulates that results that have been declared by the regional election officers must be gazetted. Until those results are gazetted, it doesn't hold. And it must be done within 21 days. So to go to court before the results are gazetted, it's also contrary to, it's alien to what CI 127 states. Because we are not even out of the 21 days. Which is why, for me, I feel that the Electoral Commission still has that mandate.
No, but when you say they have a mandate, that mandate must be supported by law. Because you read the 127 and talked about, you identify what you consider a gray area.
Yes.
You understand me? So let's assume that is a gray area. The Electoral Commission then cannot assume.
Yes, but you see,
and I'm sure that is what has led to the NDC going to court on that fight.
Yes, but all of these results have not been gazetted. It's declared but not gazetted.
Yeah, the Gazette only tells you
that this is
that if you want to go to court, you can only go to court when this has been done. It doesn't take away your right to go to court.
Of course, it does not.
In any case, we saw at Scene North, an MP was in court. Was in Parliament. He was sworn in. He sat there. The Supreme Court sacked him.
Yes. So because then they are saying no.
Then they are saying the EC should go and say the ones that they've declared, let it so be.
And go and challenge it in court.
We should have a stage where the EC gazettes these results. But the EC cannot gazette the results because there are reports that have come from the regional officers that they were forced to declare the results in favor of Green. And so because of that, the EC says that then they either need to recollate, retabulate, put everything together, and then declare the results again. Having further on done that, then now the EC can go on to gazette the results. If the EC gazettes the results,
so in Techiman South, in Techiman South, when the NDC protested, why did the EC not take that same position? The position is taken today. Why didn't it take that position when the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, and by the way, sad news is that the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, former minority leader, former minister, has lost his mother this very morning in Tamale. So our commiserations to you, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, on the loss, the demise of your mother this morning in Tamale.
Our deepest condolences to respected Honorable Haruna Idrisu. I have a lot of love for him, and I'm sure that at his age, his mother would also be very old. So it will be a good life lived, and I'm sure that should be buried immediately. But we'll come for the 40 days Adwa. I don't know whether you add yours before I go to the topic.
Yeah, our condolences to our leader. It's always sad to lose a mother, but we pray that Allah will strengthen him and the family during this period.
Okay. So now, Dr. Abe, maybe I will need a reminder of whether the Techiman was gazetted or not. You understand? Because the CI is very clear.
No, it was eventually gazetted.
It was eventually gazetted. Good. So at this stage, the contention really, and I can appreciate that, yes, people have their right to go to court, but at this stage, the issues that are at stake is that there were returning officers for the parliamentary who said, based on the pink sheets, based on the number of people that had voted.
So I have a very senior lawyer who sends me this one. He says that coercion and duress are issues of evidence to be established in courts. Nobody has the power or right to determine that. It's an issue of fact to be established in court by leading credible evidence. In short, there are factual issues which have to be established by credible and cogent evidence in a court of competent jurisdiction. What if the NDC also raises those issues for constituencies that they also lost? Would that be a basis for the EC to say that? So he says that coercion and duress are issues of evidence to be established in court. So if you go to court and those allegations have credibility, it will be established beyond reasonable doubt in court. And on the basis of that, after weighing the evidence and putting weight on those evidence, the judge will then take a decision. But it will not lie within the power of the EC to make that kind of determination.
It does not lie in the hands of the EC to determine whether the results were.
No, I'm saying that an officer says I was coerced.
Okay.
Another party says it's not true. You were not coerced.
Okay.
The forum for determining that is not the EC. That's the point I'm making. It's not the EC. We all agree, and that is why the law makes provision for that. So let's all go to court. I'm saying that, look, for me, I'm saying that even as in North, the court was able to stop the person at a point in time from even going to parliament. The court was able to annul whatever happened. The court was able to direct for the EC to go and hold a by-election. And we all had the patience and everything, whether we agreed or disagreed, to follow that as due process. So if something has gone on, a person is claiming that ABCD happened, the right forum is to go to the court, lead the evidence, let the court establish that, and take a decision. Why? And that's where my issue is. It appears that all of a sudden we are court averse.
But also, how many of the presiding officers are saying they were under duress? Apart from the one, I think in Tema Central. You know. So I think that one is a very minimal or a very simple issue. The majority that are being discussed, for me, I think my take is that once that the returning officers have declared, that one should remain so. But it's up to the EC too. If not, and any other group of persons have any other, they have their pink sheets to prove otherwise. I think that one too, then it's within the preview of the EC to be.
So are we saying that tomorrow, if there is an election somewhere, and then a presiding officer writes to the Electoral Commission and say that I was forced
to declare,
I was threatened, my life, I felt threatened, that would be a basis for the EC to say that it is not going to uphold that declaration. Yes. Would that be a basis?
No, that shouldn't.
We might get into the realm of absurdity.
Absolutely, but you see, though, one of the things that we also must be minded of is that the regional officers, the regional election officers, must also ensure that if you are coerced, don't declare.
Yes, I don't have that right. I don't have a problem with that.
You also have the right to hold.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm saying that when the declaration has been made, fortunately, the court provides. You understand me? In that same note, this is somebody who had been cleared by the Electoral Commission. But yet we said that, look, the Electoral Commission's clearing of you, the Electoral Commission even heard the issue. There was a protest, a petition to the Electoral Commission by aggrieved persons. The Electoral Commission heard those aggrieved persons, and on the basis of that, cleared the man to run. Yet, when it came to that issue, our position was that it doesn't lie with the Electoral Commission. It's an issue for the court to decide. So the Electoral Commission's hearing of the petition, listening to the issues, and approving of the gentleman, what's his name? Kwesi. Yes, Kwesi to run, really was neither here nor there. We ousted their jurisdiction in that particular matter. That's what happened.
A determination of the court.
Yes.
Clearly, a determination of the court. Clearly.
Anyway, so you've all been there, you've placed the perfect multi-bet, and it's all going your way until it's not, and one or more picks let you down. Well, with Betway's Bet Saver feature, you can win even if your bet misses. Even on multiple losses, you can get your bet back and more. Bet Saver is exclusive to Betway, Get Way More. Terms and conditions apply. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, Get Way More. Okay. So, we'll perhaps wrap up on this one, and it's in Parliament. Something interesting is actually happening in Parliament. So we know that Parliament reconvened yesterday, and we had some very interesting issues in Parliament. The minorities raised some issues. They say that they are not going to approve. They will not approve tax waivers and loans, and that it will be a burden on the public purse. That's according to the minority leader, Dr. Kisla, to force him. And he says that NDC will resist plans by the administration to impose hardship on Ghanaians through tax waivers. He questioned the rationale to procure a 140 million euro Navy ship at a time when the nation was grappling with financial challenges. He said the incoming NDC majority side of parliament will advance reforms and policies for the benefit of Ghanaians. And he says that they will keep to fiscal discipline and ensure prudent management of the economy. So, Mr. Speaker, it's very wrong for a government that is leaving office in 3 weeks to commit 140 million euros. Mr. Speaker, it is extremely important for the state, allow the new government to carry it out. Mr. Speaker, the tax exemptions before us, if approved, will have a fiscal burden in the next budget. So you're saying that the next government should carry your burden of $350 million. Mr. Speaker, no way. However, Defense Minister Mr. Dominic Netu stated that the ships were crucial for the Ghana Navy, adding that IMF approved the government's request to secure a loan for the purchase. He urged his colleague from the NDC to support the procurement for the Navy, as they will support their office in discharging their duties. And meanwhile, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, the majority leader, raised concerns about how the NDC was going to fund his much-touted policy proposals of supplying chicks to farmers if the next government reviews e-levy and betting tax. While congratulating the NDC for a resounding victory in the December 7 general elections, Afenyo-Markin reminded the NDC of his promise to run a lean government by appointing 60 ministers. The NPP leader said his side will keep the next government on its toes to deepen Ghana's democracy. Well, let's watch both the minority and majority leaders in terms of their statements on the floor of the House yesterday.
What we're trying to do, and let them bring in all the badness.
Right Honourable Speaker, I'm grateful for the opportunity to make a statement, to welcome your good self, leadership, and all honourable members of Parliament back to this august House. Speaker, I would like to congratulate all members who were re-elected in the just ended parliamentary elections. Right Honourable Speaker, again to our colleagues who unfortunately will not be part of the next Parliament, I wish them well in their future endeavors. For electing His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as the next President of the Republic of Ghana. The people of Ghana have once again shown that they can rise to the occasion when it matters the most. May I, at this point, acknowledge the hard work of our present 137 NDC members of Parliament for their dedication to duty, which has resulted in the unprecedented number of MPs elect for the NDC party. Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to announce that we were able to snatch over 50 parliamentary seats from our colleagues at the divide. We took more than 50 parliamentary seats from the ruling NPP party. Mr. Speaker, we have clearly shown that it is possible to reduce the NPP majority to Nkokwan Katenkate. Indeed, Nkokwan Katenkate is possible. Right Honourable Speaker, the night Parliament will be unique and interesting. It would be a contest of ideas between the super NDC majority and the mini-micro NPP minority. Mr. Speaker, what happened on the 7th of December polls was a revolution, the people's revolution, what I call it. It was a revolt against a government that is obstinate, insensitive, high-handed, and dismissive of public opinion. It was a revolt against a government that called people with dissenting views names, such as detractors, cynics, naysayers. Mr. Speaker, sometimes they call views of dissenting people as Sambalat and Tobias. Ghanaians have clearly shown that they cannot be taken for granted, and that when it matters the most, they will either reward those in office or punish those in office. Right Honourable Speaker, it is obvious that MPP has been punished for its poor governance, economic mismanagement, obstinacy, greed, state capture, arrogance of power, impunity, disrespect, lawlessness, and persecution of political opponents. Mr. Speaker, the lesson is that what happened to the MPP and the outgoing government is that the political class cannot and should not take the people of Ghana for granted. This calls for introspection on the part of the political class. It is also a call for deep soul searching on the part of those in leadership who ought to have been heard when government engages in acts of impunity, lawlessness, and destruction. To my cherished NDC political party and the incoming government, may we never become like the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. Right Honorable Speaker, we have to be different. We cannot be like the NPP government. We may be guided by the principles of integrity, probity, and accountability. Mr. Speaker, the time has come for us to do right by the people of Ghana at all times and to champion people-centered policies that genuinely benefit the voter and the ordinary Ghanaian, not the political class and its cronies. Right Honorable Speaker, indeed, it is finished.
Let me take this opportunity to also welcome you into the House and welcome my colleagues, led by Dr. KCL Atufosin, back into this honorable chamber. Indeed, it is an established constitutional custom that once in every 4 years, the people of this country are given the opportunity to elect their leaders. First, the President of the Republic, and second, parliamentarians, the people's representatives. On the 7th of December, this mandate was rightfully exercised by the people of Ghana. They did so peacefully, without fear. They have elected a president and members of parliament. It is without doubt that our friends in the NDC have emerged victorious. And I take this opportunity to congratulate the leader of the minority side and his team for such an unprecedented feat. I also congratulate His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama on his election. Mr. Speaker, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia did something very unprecedented. We've never witnessed it in the history of our politics before. Relying on his own internal coalition, at 9 a.m. on Sunday, he publicly acknowledged the outcome of the elections, conceded and congratulated the president-elect, who was yet to be officially declared by the Electoral Commission. Mr. Speaker, such a move by him was very historic and commendable. Today, we are here because of that singular action. Today, we are here because all of us collective acknowledged that all we have is our democracy. Mr. Speaker, permit me to take us through memory lane. In 2016, you are going to repeal the betting tax, the e-levy. You are going to repeal all these taxes. You are going to reduce the taxes at the ports. We wonder where you get the money to implement the Onkukon Ketenkete. We are waiting. Mr. Speaker, these are on a lighter note. But Mr. Speaker, clearly, this is a time for us to reflect, particularly those of us getting into opposition. Indeed, no party can run a perfect government in this country. When you get into government, whilst you are happy to implement your policies, you are likely to make some mistakes. We concede that some mistakes were made. We concede that we couldn't have done everything perfect. The people have spoken, we've accepted it. But Mr. Speaker, the coming days and years will reveal the true colors of this umbrella. And the elephant will be watching keenly in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, this House looks forward to a leadership that will keep us going and keep the lights on in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, let me commend you for the 4 years of your leadership in this House. Mr. Speaker, we may have our disagreements, but it is obvious that members' warfare have been key to your leadership. Nobody can take it away from you. Mr. Speaker, the institutional empowerment you've given to Parliament is equal to none. It's largely because, Mr. Speaker, we had you as a speaker coming from within. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether you are being retained or a new person is going to be appointed, but I pray that if they decide, Mr. Speaker, if they sack you, Mr. Speaker, of all that you've done for them, they are going to sack you. Of all that Mr. Speaker has done for you, you are going to sack Mr. Speaker. We will see. Mr. Speaker, if they decide to retain you, I know Parliament is going to benefit. But should they decide to retire you, Mr. Speaker, they can do it. Oh, they can do it. They are unpredictable. They can do it. If they decide to retain you, the happiness of this House will gather further momentum. However, if the new government decides to bring a new speaker, that speaker should come from within. We don't want an outsider. We want somebody from within who would understand us. But, Mr. Speaker, having said that, we have some major government business outstanding that I would want to encourage colleagues that within the few days and weeks left, we should do everything possible to deal with these government business so that we can say that it is indeed finished. Mr. Speaker, there are also some important welfare matters that I would want to pledge to my colleagues, that together with my colleague Dr. Casey Latofosen, who by virtue of the test must be attended to. Members have projects outstanding in their constituencies. We need to together work and ensure that statutory funds that are outstanding are released so that members can continue their projects, hand them over, especially those who are leaving us. Mr. Speaker, to colleagues who could not make it, there's a better day tomorrow. Do not give up. The Frenchman will say, c'est la vie. This is life. There are good days and bad days. If you lost, get back to the people, understand them, do some research, and I'm quite sure that upon that and reflection, you'll be better prepared for a better day tomorrow. There are some amongst us who lost elections and came back. Go to them, consult them, and engage them. And if you are desirous of remaining in public life, I'm sure you'll make it the next time around. For those of us who have won, let us be mindful of the needs of our people. We should really evaluate, assess, and critically analyze our votes. Those that were coming down, we should know what the people are telling us, so that we'll be better prepared for the next election in terms of the decisions that we will take. Mr. Speaker, with this, I would want to again welcome colleagues and thank also the parliamentary service staff. They've been our silent enablers, encouraging us, supporting us. You know, Mr. Speaker, they make us function and function effectively. To them, I say thank you. We appreciate your work in silence. God will richly bless you for all you do in silence for the benefit of the people's representatives. Mr. Speaker, without more, let me thank you for this opportunity.
The leaders of the House from the majority side and the minority side, there was a serious contention about the business, that it was too loaded, and they have, I mean, I'm sure they're going to sit till Friday, break for the holidays, and then come back and wrap up by the 6th of January. And already the minorities made it clear that the issues of loans and tax waivers and 140 million euro ship and stuff, they will have nothing of that. It won't happen. Progress.
Yes, I appreciate the stance of the minority. I think that for a government that is transitioning into another government that is not of the same political orientation, some of these bold decisions obviously must be left to the new leadership that is coming. One of the things that I saw was that at least the statutory funds, if they can be able to look at that, especially for the MPs that are not coming, that would be very key. But it's exciting to see that Parliament has reconvened and there's no debate about citizen in terms of where one should sit as a majority leader or a minority leader. I'm sure that it's very clear now that the 9th Parliament has an overwhelming majority from the NDC side. And so statutory funds, if Parliament can be able to look at that within the few days that are left for the new Parliament to start off, that would be good. But I wanted to ask a question. There are some bills that have not been attended to yet. I know that the timing is very short, but I want to make a proposal to the 9th Parliament for them to be able to look at those bills and the new President-elect John Dramani Mahama.
If they don't conclude, they'll have to start afresh. The next Parliament will start afresh.
Absolutely.
It happened to JM on the right to information.
RTI.
It was at the very final stage. The Parliament, after the election, refused to look at it, and they left it for the Akufo-Addo administration to come sign it. So they either finish with it or it has to start.
Or it has to start all over again.
Tomorrow is the 18th. Tomorrow will be the 18th. So tomorrow we expect the Supreme Court to give us the verdict on the
99, Article 97.
No, give us a verdict on the family values.
Oh yes.
Yes, that's the 18th of December.
Yes.
So we expect that verdict tomorrow, and then on the basis of the verdict we will see
if the president would assent.
Yes.
Or would wait for the incoming president.
He says that he's been made aware.
He's in transition.
He's been made aware of a case in court. And so cease and desist. Tomorrow, 18th is happening. So when they finish, if they give an all clear, we will see.
Usually called LGBTQ.
Yes. Okay. Tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow. Go to court. Yeah, Reverend.
Yeah, you know, the majority, with a certain arrangement, I think it was clear that there's no need to fight over the next few days who sits where, because come 7th, everybody will know.
I'm sure that even the speaker would have easily offered his seat to him.
Yes. And then he did mention of the repealing of taxes, and then I think it's necessary that it is done. But I believe with a 24-hour economy plan, we should be able to get ourselves up. And then, like I keep saying, I'll plead that we, the NDC members, we support our incoming president to do everything in moderation, in prioritizing and reducing expenditure. Once we're able to do that, I'm sure we'll be able to find our feet with the economy. And also with the LGBTQ thing, I just can't wait for tomorrow, and I hope he assents on it, so at least we can have a good family life moving forward. And you know, Randy, before I almost forgot a group of people that I needed to thank.
Right.
And that's my agents.
Yes.
And my coalition agents.
Yes.
I really want to appreciate them And those who may have worked in secret that I didn't even know, I want to thank them. And then my clergy family, they stood with me in prayer. I also want to thank them and thank everybody. There are some people in the hierarchy, but I don't want to mention all of them.
Right.
When I start, I'll get in trouble.
Okay.
So each and every one of them, I really appreciate your support even up to now. Thank you very much.
So two of my friends were part of your team.
Okay.
Pakalote and Ajaki.
Mike.
Yes, Mike Ajaki. So my regards to them as well.
I'll surely do that.
Right. Yes. Right.
When we began and we were doing.
Somebody just sent me a text that 2 people were killed in your constituency.
No, I haven't. You hold on before we get to that. Just the beginning part when we were talking about the journey that we had been on.
Yes.
You know, Prince Derek Ajay also was one of my senior mentors.
Right.
It's just that now he's got a bit rowdy sometimes, but he puts me on radio.
He's passionate about
very passionate
the
about
Garlands
and everything. Yes, so very greetings to Prince Derek Ajay. And then
he's a royal.
Yes,
from the
very much. And then also to Chairman Harrison team. Misa, he was the chair. He still is actually the chair for the Duke of Edinburgh International Awards. Yes, now to a Bokan of constituency.
Is it true 2 people were killed?
I know it's not true. I went to vote. I voted around 8:30 a.m. And then later on in the evening, I realized that there were some press conferences that were done in New Tafuzongo by the NDC caucus about some issues that had happened. I further on spoken to the MP-elect, and he's told me that all issues have been resolved. And so the assertion that 2 people are killed is not true.
Well, because somebody sent me some medical evidence from a hospital, so maybe you need to double check.
Please, please share that with me.
Yes, I'll send it to you. All right, okay. So thanks, gentlemen, for joining me. Okay, so Parliament resumed sitting yesterday. GMG Trends resumes today. We're back shortly.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system. Backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
Here's Kwame and Yao. After hours of planning, both have locked in the same perfect multi-bet. Big win for United, over 1.5. And both teams to score in the London Derby. But who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the Bridge? There's nothing worse than having your perfect multi-bet missing. But there's nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver. Win, even if your bet misses. There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. BetSaver.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Time to check out what is trending on social media. with Desi, the star boy. Welcome back.
Thank you, Doc. It's been a minute. It's been a while. Yeah. Well, we thank God for life. We're back in here. Doc, hope you're well too.
Oh, by the special grace of God.
We thank God. We thank God.
A friend of mine, Kwame, says, "And you cry."
On that note, just want to say a bit about our Election Central coverage. Big thanks to all of you for staying tuned with us here on Metro TV, also Original 91.9 FM and Original TV. It was amazing. The experience was really cool. All the craziness, some of the things that you don't see on television during the election. We really do appreciate that. But on that note, it's not like I'm not laughing and I'm not mocking. It's just what social media has been saying, Honorable Wari. Yeah.
I guess it's the most popular
term right now.
Yeah. With a song too.
With a song. I'll play the song and I'll play the movie in which it was cast from, right? So yesterday, Honorable Esla went to Parliament meeting. She dropped from the car, or boys the car. She give them some look like this. Then come and see boys and hey, oh, we miss you, Honorable, we miss you.
I said, mommy. Belle.
Mommy, we miss you. That some of the car. Anyway, see.
Did you see Honorable Kennedy Ejefo? On his way to Parliament.
On his way to Parliament.
And he's all white. You didn't see him?
Now, all white, saying?
I don't know. I can give you Guy G's number.
All white.
Did you see Napoto? He even spoke.
Honorable Wari.
You know,
Charlie.
Napo is the one who said that God slept.
Oh, even God, yes.
So he said God slept on a Saturday.
Yes.
So and the election was on Saturday. Not so.
It's naturally.
God slept on him.
On that note, Honorable Wari.
The anointing oil didn't reach God. Because God was sleeping.
It was
a Saturday.
It was a Saturday. Now you have bread. Please, I want you to play the Honorable Wari for me, okay?
Honorable Wari. Honorable one, Wari. Nagas Honorable Fandopa.
Kachi.
It's Wari.
Kachi.
Wari.
Ade.
Wari.
Who knew enemy?
Niminuano.
Oh, Fanemy.
Yamshin.
Semajina Bana Maria. If I obey.
Oh.
Sikane Usika.
Yamsika.
One of my crush. What's going on?
Mommy, we miss you. We miss you so much. Oh, mommy. Why is it? Honorable Wari. Honorable Wari. Honorable one, Wari. Nagas Honorable Fandopa.
Kachi.
It's Wari.
Kachi.
No. So, mommy, we miss you. I don't say the woman like if you want to talk, man, you can talk something. But from her work, you know, say no, that things you don't go talk. Because if you talk, maybe you go turn another matter again. Yeah. So, anyway, nyame no de ma. Ano so no je. Nti wa je to go regroup and see if another time you go full work. So all the honorables, Dr. Palgrave.
What has Palgrave done?
Oh, he's a good friend of the station.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't give up. But you see, this morning we had two ministers of God in politics. Very interesting one. Anyway, Doc, SMBSC in Ablekuma North.
Ablekuma North?
Yes.
What has happened?
So the police released a statement that Kwashiman cluster of schools where ballot boxes are housed caught fire in the early hours of today. Now, it's a big school, cluster of schools, so a dozen. But why only that side of the building of the school, the janitor, where the ballot boxes are being kept?
Is it not obvious? But then you also ask, I mean, is it intelligence failure in the midst of all the controversy around this? I mean, securing where these ballot boxes are ought to be a priority. I mean, it is not something that should be lost out on the intelligence community or the security agencies, really. I mean, this is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
If they are important and that is why they are there, then they need to be secure.
It's a no-brainer. This are things that are being contested. And those things, they are, I mean, key evidence as far as these issues are concerned. So whether they are going to do a recollation or they're going to go to court and the court will order for a recollation or whatever, I mean, the security of these documents should be of utmost priority. And so how come you can have arsonist, that is if the investigation is able to establish that. I mean, go in and then set fire to, like you said, that particular place. Only that part where you have the ballot papers. I mean, this shouldn't happen.
This shouldn't happen. Yeah, and from the comments on socials, everybody's not happy about it. That, I mean, how can this happen?
It shouldn't happen.
Say they're investigating, so we'll wait and see how that one actually goes. So, for now, yesterday, of course, the CAF Awards took place. Ademola Lookman won the that is the African Footballer of the Year. But also on Sunday, Hassan Kotoko, that last minute mishap that caused us a win. A draw actually against Kotoko and gave Kotoko the win. Coach Prospogu was, and all that. Anyway, we'll come back and we'll do better. Lions also went away to some attempts to win. This is a real definition of polluters of Koye Mama, Koye Lions. On that note, tomorrow we are having our 9 lessons in Carol's night. So you definitely need to keep it locked right here on Metro TV. MP Lex Fayala, so West Wogon, John Dumelo is coming. Yes, Trigmatic is coming in. Obi and Bonsa, the comedian, Lexi the comic. Quindalin Yegli is going to be lots of fun right here at Metro TV. So do watch us live on TV. We'll bring all of that to you on original TV also. So it's our 9 lessons, night of 9 lessons and carols that is happening tomorrow. It's bring a samba, but you can't feel it in the air. Nothing did there inside.
I see. Are you sure you can feel it? Are you sure you can feel it?
Oh, I can feel it.
Even the honorables who have re-cried, they can feel it.
They can feel it. On that note, on Thursday, Thursday will be Thursday. I wouldn't be here. So I don't today and tomorrow. Let me give my special birthday wishes to my wife in advance on Thursday, which I won't be here.
The birthday is on Thursday.
Yes. So in advance.
Okay. Thursday the 19th?
Yeah, the 19th.
Okay. That's your wife's birthday?
That's my wife's
birthday.
Okay, 19th of December.
So go ahead.
So happy birthday in advance to my wife, Emanuela. They do and straight and so. Everything together. Happy birthday to you in advance. So today, I'm going to do one for you, sir.
Huh?
All for you.
You say you go do it?
No, me, I go do one for. Oh, dog.
No, I'm just asking.
No, I go do the shells for him, like the birthday wishes. I go do one for him. Oh. No, Carol, I'm very boo. That's why I've closed. But this is the Starboy. I'll see you tomorrow.
So, Mrs. Starboy, says today and tomorrow, he go do one for you, sir. Up next, Metro Sports.
On number worry. On number worry. On number 1, worry. Nagas on number 5.
Kachi.
Miss worry.
Kachi.
Worry.
Ade.
Worry.
Unya neme.
Iminuano.
Oh, faneme.
Yamshin.
Semajina bana Maria. Aha, efa ho bay.
Oh.
Sika na ewu sika.
Enyem sika.
One of my girls. What's going on?
Mommy, we miss you. We miss you. On number worry. On number worry. On number 1, worry. Nagas on number 5.
Kachi.
Miss worry.
Kaji.
Worry.
Ade.
Worry.
Who knew me?
You mean you know?
Oh, funny me.
Yamshin.
Semajina Bana Maria. Aha, if I obey.
Oh,
Sikane Usika.
and Yamsika.
One of my girls. What's going on?
Mommy. Honorable worry.